Alright, word up. We looking good. So you ready to rock?
Yep. Good to go.
Alright, cool. Here we go. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today or year coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, Best Believe It. Dope folks. And I'm joined by someone who is not new to this channel. Alright. This guy got skills to pay the bills. Right over here, Robert Jeffrey. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me back on.
Man, it's good to have you here. So, for those that don't know who you are, what you do, give yourself a real quick intro of like what you get into, what you do, what is your thing, sir?
What's my forte? My name's I'm a writer based in Atlanta. I've been freelancing for probably since 2006 for publications like the Atlanta Voice newspaper. But currently, the bulk of my writing is in comic books. So I've written for publishers like DC Comics, 133 Art, shout out, Subsume Media.
Word.
Yeah, and bunch of actually a few other ones, but most people might know me from Round 3, The Crossing, Mine To Avenge, Radio Free America, and Retcon and Changa and the Jade Obelisk. So shout out to all the series and all the publishers.
So you be writing all them things.
Trying to.
Shouts to first name after one up in the chat. What up? Nice to see you. So I want to get into your newest, well, at least for me, what I know is the newest thing going on, which is Fox Chronicles. I just dropped the link in the chat. You guys can see it on Kickstarter. What is Fox Chronicles?
So Fox Chronicles is we call it a coming of age story about this a teenager in Atlanta, actually based in Atlanta, a teenager by the name of Autumn Fox. And by the time we reach her, she's in like kind of full knowledge of what her special abilities are. So she's a very special person and all that. But
okay.
One of the things that we wanted to do, and it's the story is set kind of in the near future, but not so close that we still recognize our current world. But we don't have hover cars. So, okay. But she wants to use her abilities, to right the wrongs of her world, of Earth. And one of those it's the main topics we're focusing on is human trafficking. And this AI consciousness, which acts as her, we call her Alfred, except he's an a-hole. His name is John. He's been trying to, train this train Autumn throughout her life to take on kind of a larger, let's say, galaxy spanning, job or task. And he sees it kind of beneath her to use her abilities to kind of right the trivial wrongs of Earth, and including human trafficking within that. So it's kind of a clash between what she wants to do, her quote unquote responsibilities, to her planet, but also to the galaxy at large. So we're saying that it's like a perfect mashup of the space opera action of Voltron, legendary defender, but also the coming of age heroics of something like Ironheart. So it's a good mix of sci-fi action and adventure with a bit of social commentary mixed in.
Nice. So what was kind of like the idea, the first inspiration about the whole human trafficking side? And I thought that was kind of cool. Like when I saw it, I was like, all right, there's a nice little twist to it. And where they came, like, were you watching Taken? And you were like, yo, man.
No, I mean,
you're like, yo, man, this human trafficking thing got to stop.
No, I mean, my Taken love ended when I realized Liam Neeson just loves beating up black people, right? Shooting black guys.
Yeah, because he was a little bit, he was a little too excited
Yeah, he
about
was.
that. He was a
Yeah,
little
he
too
was.
excited.
He was bringing the script to horrible life, apparently. But anyways,
Yeah.
no. Um, so one of the sad parts about this is that Atlanta, at least at one point, and um, I know that it was big within sex trafficking, and it was, when you go to let's say you go to a park down here and you got to go to the restroom. One of the things that I see is, if you look up, there are posters that have been put up in these restrooms that say, if you are a victim of human trafficking, this is what you can do. Just kind of,
Wow.
yeah, that's how it is. That's how deep it is. It's even like that at Quick Trips, at
Wow.
some of the places down here. Yeah. So Atlanta at a certain point was a hub for that. But one of the things also is that, going back to my days with Terminus Media, when I was writing Route 3 and Radio Free America, we were hired by the Centers for Disease Control to write a animated motion comic, to script a animated motion comic, focusing on, raising awareness about HIV and STD prevention, and raising awareness about both of those. So we did it was like a 7 episode project, won some awards, but in our writers room, we wanted to, if the opportunity came back again to do something like this with a different topic, we, one of the things that we were thinking about focusing on was human trafficking, because just as much as, there are, human trafficking is just as much of a, health issue or health concern, as much as it is like a social ailment or a crime. So it was something that we had wanted to tackle, way back when, but we never got the opportunity to. So when Tony Cade, who is the creator of Alden Fox and the guy who had the idea for the story, um, wanted that to be the focus in what we were combating, in terms of the subject matter. So
So, all right. Okay. Interesting. So, with okay. So, if without, I guess, spoiling too much,
yeah,
how far along is she, I guess, in the knowledge of the kind of the the drug trafficking, I guess, like trade, or the,
yeah, yeah. When we meet her in the story, this is her introduction to it. So this is her introduction into it. So it's not like she's been, by the time we get there, she was, and she's been investigating this for a long time. This is actually her origin story when it comes to, battling this. So
okay,
that is the origin story aspect of things. But it's less of, this is when she got her abilities, and then she decided to go out and fight crime, and and there's nothing wrong with that, but we didn't, at least for personally, I wanted to just hit the ground running with the story and focus on what
good.
we needed to focus on, rather than, making it about like, gee golly, I have these abilities,
Yeah, you're
and
like,
there is.
skip all that. We ain't worrying about all that.
Exactly. Let's skip all that. And then, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not something that we wanted to do with the story that we were telling. We wanted to, with Autumn, you have the rare, at least within mainstream, because
Hmm.
indies, you find plenty of examples of, teenage superheroines who are killing it. One prime example being, Spirit's Destiny,
Oh
by
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dorfeus, yeah, by Dorfeus. And but indie wise, there are a lot of characters that kind of match this mold, but we wanted to kind of add to that by also having, her at the center of this. Like, there's still a bunch of sci-fi action, but still, have her tackling something that, um, at times, affects, the African American community in a huge way, which is unfortunate. I mean, it affects all. I mean, unfortunately, there is still a worldwide slave trade. No
Yeah,
matter whether it's economical or whether it's, for sexual. That those
yeah.
they're very, and that was one of the things that when we were doing the research into this, that it was surprising. At least the things that we were learning about how this, form of for servitude can, can take its form. So can take its form. So yeah, that's kind of what I guess our goal was, with focusing on
Okay.
her, but it's kind of like a year one story,
Got you.
if you want a comic book comparison. So
Nice, nice. So, guys, go in and check out that link. I'll throw it in the chat once again. You know what I'm saying? Fox Chronicles.
thank you.
You ain't gotta have the G golly moments. You ain't gotta wait. We getting right into the action. And the art is fantastic. From like what I'm
Thank you,
saying.
man.
See, you look at the Kickstarter. You got all kinds of different artists chipping in. We already know your writing style is on point. So this is just something that I
Mhm.
wanted to shine a light on. But
Thank you, man.
I also want to give you some congratulations because if you go to that link, Fox Chronicles is already funded. You know what I'm saying? Like, look,
Yeah.
they're already funded. So all you need to do, if you want to get your book, go on over there, put some dollars in the plate, and then you get you a copy. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean in a little bit, not right now, but you're gonna get in a little bit. So there's a book that's near and dear to my heart that you've been teasing
hmm
as of
Yeah.
late.
Yep.
I ran a campaign to free this book from the evil clutches, all right, of another publisher that will not be named. But now, Mine to Avenge is free. That's right.
hmm
Mine to Avenge is free. And not only is it free, you've been dropping small little hints of Mine to Avenge for. Just like little teeny pieces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I seen you. I see what you be posting. You know what I'm saying? I'll start with this. As someone who enjoys hardcovers, are we ever going to get a Mind to Avenge hardcover? Are we ever going to get one of those?
That's the plan ultimately is to put into a trade, so
All right.
we can definitely have that discussion as far as hardcovers. I mean, you see with so the new publisher that we're the current publisher that we're with, Subsume Media, Dedrin just announced the release of Sorghum and Spear in a pretty
Yeah, yeah.
nice, hardcover. So, that's definitely our plans, so yeah, if you could, if we, yeah, that's what we're shooting for. That's what we're shooting for, at least for
All right.
getting
Word up.
this
Word up.
first story arc, put together. So yeah.
And I know there might be some people that don't know what Mind to Avenge is. If you could give them a little insight into Mind to Avenge, because
hmm
I love it, but I'm like, you know
Thank
what
you,
I'm
man.
saying, y'all. I'll let you explain it.
Thanks. So elevator pitch is Blade meets Blade Runner. The story focuses on their back in the 1800s. There was a couple of some renown, and actually based on a true couple named the Lalauries. And in
Mm-hmm.
real life, they, I consider anybody who was a slaveholder a psychopath. That's just me,
Yeah, yeah.
an evil person. But these people the took that to the nth level, and they were literally torturing and maiming their slaves, even to the point of the slaveholding community in New Orleans at the time was clutching the pearls. So in my story, I tell the story. I tell the tale of a little girl who escaped the confines of this den of torture or whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes on as a result of the trauma that she suffered as a slave, but also seeing what she saw in that house. She's encountering some sort of PTSD. She decides to create an organization called the Retribution Cabal, which keeps the descendants of basically keeps black folks safe from the things that go bump in the night. And in my
Mm-hmm.
story, the Lalauries are the things that go bump in the night. There's a little
Yeah.
bit more to them. So we fast forward into the future, and the group that she created was the Retribution Cabal, and it's basically at a broken state. And the one descendant of the line of Leia, who is a little girl, her name, the descendant is Layla. she is asked reluctantly to be brought back into the fold to fight against the Lawleries who have popped up in the cybernetic future that we have, or the cyberpunk future that we have. So it's a sci-fi story with a little bit of, once again, a social commentary that spans many centuries actually. So it's like a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff that I love. Like the action horror of Blade, meets
Yes.
historical, in this case historical fiction, because I'm taking liberties with the source material. But
Yeah.
it just seems like the nerd in me has been satiated with with creating this story. So
It's fun to watch. It's fun to look at. It's fun to read. And
thank
as
you, man.
someone who likes supernatural action, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I
Thank
picked
you,
it up
man.
and I was like, oh word. I was like the creepiness of when the little girl like runs away, like the
Hmm.
creepiness of like the fingers, and
Yeah,
it's like ah. but
yeah.
um
Um,
but yeah, it's real cool. It's real cool for real.
Thank you, man. And I always, like I always say, shout out to the our team, Mateo Illuminati,
Hmm.
who is now doing work for Heavy Metal, and a bunch of other awesome indie publishers, including 133 Art. So,
Yeah.
and then Loris Ravina, who is the colorist and letterer, the same thing, doing work for 133 Art, Substance Media, same for Mateo, and other publishers. That was I Those guys are talented as heck, and they're one of the
Word.
main reasons why the book it does as well as it does.
Word up. Word up. So moving on
Hmm.
to another one.
Hmm.
This is one that I actually I when you first told me about it, I was like, man, I don't know. But this is another successful one.
Okay.
The Crossing. And I haven't read The Crossing yet. I haven't seen The
Oh,
Crossing
okay.
yet.
Yeah.
The Crossing. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this dude got books. All right? Books. This dude, look, he be
Thanks, man.
writing. All right? Oh man. So The
Yeah.
Crossing. Let's get into The Crossing for a
Yeah.
second,
Yeah.
because this is one that you had been like amping and pushing for a while, and the
Hmm.
book is finally backed and supported. Um,
Hmm.
First, well, I guess first talk about when you kind of expect the books to get out to people, and then give them an idea what The Crossing is.
So the first issue is available right now. I mean, we fulfilled
Oh,
or
see, I didn't know
the
they were
pub.
fulfilled yet. All right, cool.
Oh yeah. No, you can buy them. You can buy them now.
Word up.
Yeah, we that now believe me, I'll say this going forward. No publisher that I'm working with is gonna have a problem with fulfilling stuff, and in that or
That's right.
in addition to, but if there were delays, we would tell people in a timely fashion as to what was happening. So Jason, shout out to Jason Reeves of 133 Art. Those were gotten out I think a while ago. So um, they are available for sale right now at 133 Art, 133art.com. So you can get the first
What up?
issue.
What up?
Um, and the second issue, uh, script is done, and I think Sean is on thumbnails right now. Yeah, I think
Okay,
Sean is
okay,
on
okay.
thumbnails right now. So yeah, as far as the a Kickstarter to fund it and just get that going, I'll definitely follow up with you. But people can definitely get the first issue right now.
Word up. Word up.
The Crossing is my love letter to sliders. I grew up on cheesy, whatever. It was a fun show. And I'm not going to keep calling it
Sliders was
cheesy.
fun, man. Sliders was a
Yeah,
fun watch. It was. I
Sliders was
mean,
fun. I think.
I haven't watched it recently, so I don't know how it
Mhm.
holds up. But back then,
I
I
mean,
liked it.
it kind of, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But
Cause you know those
I
effects,
think
boy. Whoo.
it's the same thing for a lot of shows from the 90s. I mean, like
Yeah.
sci-fi shows, but you appreciate the storytelling, You appreciate the acting and the characters. And Sliders was just one of those shows. And if for people who aren't familiar with that, it's a show about four people from Prime Earth who are trapped traveling from dimension to dimension. And in the crossing,
Mm,
we use the concept of traveling from alternate dimension to alternate dimension. But our focus is more on it's a kind of a race against time where it's a chase. The FBI, there's an FBI agent and a sliding, I guess, a crossing expert who are chasing after a actually another crossing expert by the name of Dr. James Kincaid, who has quote unquote kidnapped his daughter and has escaped with her to multiple, going, to multiple dimensions. So we call it 24 meets Sliders, essentially. But there's definitely more to the story. There's more than meets the eye than just a, basic story about a father, kidnapping his daughter. And then, but there's actually a bit more to it. But the first issue funded, it's been a labor of love, between John,
nice,
myself,
nice.
and Sean, and we finally found a great publisher in 130 The Art to help bring this to life. So
What up? What up? So, guys, that's three things right now that he's rocking with as far as this crazy books. We've covered like Changa and the Jade Obelisk as well. We've looked through other works of Robert Jeffrey. I did wanna ask you this: when it comes to being in the kind of like the mindset or using the kind of atmosphere, the elements of all of these different worlds. I mean, of course, there's parts that coincide, but how do you keep each one kind of compartmentalized without one bleeding into the other or something like that? Because you do, at least on the receiving end, it seems like you're juggling so many different worlds at once.
yeah, um, that's a good question. Um, so I try to keep my Dropbox organized as possible. So that's one thing. Because I swear if I had like one just file folder with all of like my notes and my outlines and
You'd be in trouble.
artwork and I would lose my mind. I'd be like, oh my god, Route 3 is going to space this issue, or Sean is going to space in Route 3, and that's supposed to happen in Mine To Avenge. But there so when I'm hired to write a story, or if I pitch a series to a publisher and they accept
Hmm.
it, um, I try to keep my time on each separate. So,
All right.
and this goes to scheduling, which is something that, um, strangely enough, I still something I sometimes struggle with.
Mm.
But it's something that I got a big ASS scheduling book over here to help out with it. Um, so, but everything gets turned in on time. Everything is like you said. Everything has its own vibe. And the other thing, so separating everything is one way of doing it, and focusing on the assignment at hand or the task at hand. The other part of it is I kind of try to wash my brain of anything else when I'm focusing on something. So
Okay,
um,
okay.
if I'm doing something, if it's Mine To Avenge, it's just going to be nothing but bloody horror and suspense. When it's something like Route 3, um, we're we're telling a story of loss and how this guy tries to combat it with these newfound abilities. And it's more kind of focused on the superheroics in a way.
Yeah.
And um, if it's something like The Crossing, um, that's like a that's that that's a Netflix series that I've always wanted to see. That's going to be like high
Mm.
adventure, high sci-fi adventure, focusing on people of color at the middle of this. So it's just kind of like you have to do kind of a brainwash so that one thing doesn't bleed into the other. One thing that does kind of pop up though are certain aspects of the way that I write. Some people have complimented me on my dialogue with no matter what it is that I write. So that's one thing that does stay true. Um,
Cool.
and I think definitely, if you look at writers, you can hear their voice in whatever they do, even though the um the genres or the styles of whatever stories they're telling might be different. But
Okay.
yeah, I just sometimes I just gotta do a brainwash. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's cool. That's cool. So, I guess lastly,
mhm.
before we start to wrap up,
Yeah, yeah.
um, you write so many things right now. Who in the indie space or in I guess the traditional space are you like, are you really vibing with? You're like, oh man, this person is putting it down on XYZ stories or TV shows or
Hmm.
whatever it might be.
Uh, Takia Marie.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I'm going to be a little bit self-serving because we got that kamikaze story coming out. But anything
Ah,
that I've seen her do, writing wise and art wise, especially, she. I ride with her. If I've for a while as a friend, but also um as another professional, as another peer. Greg Anderson, Elise, with Isnana, the Were Spider.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, his all of his stuff is top notch. Um, I keep singing the praises of Jason Reeves. Jason Reeves is another publisher and person, creator, and he has the Pac Samson book coming out with Ahmad through
Oh
Oni Press. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, Ahmad's another guy.
And that looks like
Dorfis,
a fun read for real.
yeah, yeah, no, it looks like a beautiful book, and it looks like more of the stuff that I want to see. Just like just a variety of stuff. But
For the
I
youth.
told you, yeah, for the kid, yeah, yeah, Dorfis of Spirit's Destiny.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think. Brian Lambert, Malachi, and of her and Wingless Comics.
Hmm.
Um, and give a shout out to the home team, Dedra and Sneed of
Word
Sorghum
up,
and
word up.
Spear, and Marco Lopez, who has actually a Kickstarter going right now for another series called Blanco, which is another subsumed published book.
Okay,
Alvin
okay.
Ball, Ashley Woods, Afua Richardson, the Tuskegee Airs team.
Hi,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Tony Cage, Sean Hill. Sean Hill, just a talented dude. And I already told you Mateo Ravina and Loris, Mateo Illuminati and Loris Ravina.
Hmm.
And John Scooter Robinson with Scorpio and William Satterwright. So there's
Oh
there's a lot of people.
yeah. Yeah, don't sleep on that one. Don't sleep on that.
Like I can give you, these are people that I've grown up with in the industry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they are, all the names that I listed are talented, and the entire Kamikaze team. That's another, huge one. Shout out to them. But yeah, I always say, I was telling somebody, the days of saying that you can't find talent is over, especially with talent for people who look like me, who are black and brown and anything else except outside of white hetero males. We're in great abundance. It's
Yeah,
just and
there's mad
it's a
talented
lot of,
people out there killing it.
yeah, we're killing it. But those are the ones that come to my mind. Come off the top of my head. I know people are watching and say, why did you say my name? And in my mind, I'm like, I can give you a
It's in
full
there.
list.
It's in
Like
there.
it's in there. Yeah, I can give you an article that Takia wrote for blacksci-fi.com, which lists like at least 50 of them. Just real talk. So
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let me see if I can
Well, I
let me
could.
see if I can find out.
Well,
Uh
I'll find it to you. The
what
name of it is the 50. Let me. I'll find it to you. Um.
what up? You know what I'm saying? Because we you know what I'm saying, we need to share that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there are so many artists that I continually someone came to me a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I just found your channel. I didn't know there were black people making comic books, and I don't get this a lot, but I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
still get it. Like
Yeah.
and I'd say maybe like once every other month or something. Now I'll hear that from someone, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like okay. And then, I mean, of course, you know, I'm making stuff, other people are making stuff. So it's not that it's not there, but maybe the algorithms aren't as
Oh yeah. I mean.
as nice to us as other. But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
there's other people that are interviewing, like other
Mm-hmm.
like black illustrators or
Yep.
writers, black publicists or I mean publishers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like I know there are other people that do that. So I mean, I guess it's always cool and always good to hear people first getting on to like Ray Comics or whatever, or something like that. But I get that question, or
A
I
lot.
get that kind of
Mm-hmm.
revelation a lot,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's like they're so excited to find it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I mean, even like Takia said, that statement is just so wild in itself. Quote, I didn't know black people were making comics. Everybody is making everything if you just look. Google
Exactly.
is
Like we
free.
just we just sitting over here like drinking like and no offense to the people who just don't know, but
Yeah,
to the
but it's,
people,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to think that this whole other art form, we just like, nah,
it's
we
like,
not going to do that.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, there's no black people making comic books. It's like, well, yeah, there are black people making comic books. They're like, oh, just kicking it, just making bad comics. Like this,
Yeah.
what they be doing.
It's crazy. I shared the link with you, but the title of it is, and this is another piece written by Takia Marie. 50
Uh-huh.
comics to read. 50 comics to read when Hollywood doesn't give you your Black Jedi. And this was written,
Yo.
yeah, this is written around the time when people were like upset, like very adamantly upset about, and specifically Black nerds, that when The Force Awakens came out, that all of that, all those
Yeah.
pictures of Finn holding up the purple lightsaber or whatever color lightsaber it was, that didn't coalesce into him becoming a Jedi. And Takia had this idea of just, well, here we're not giving you like 50 examples of Black Jedi. I mean, there are plenty of websites that talk about Black Jedi, but these are 50 speculative fiction or comic book focused stories which give you Black heroes and heroines, that the ones that you were looking for in Star Wars. And just real talk, for a while Star Wars didn't give a fuck about diversity, excuse my language, a F about
Oh no,
diversity,
you right on that one.
until, yeah, until recent years. I mean, that's, and it's, I love the universe, but when it started, it was a bunch of not us there. So and the strides that they've made have been awesome recently. But when it came specifically to that, we compiled a list of like 50 50 things,
Yeah.
and this was in 2016, and that list has possibly grown since then. So that's kind of that's the type of stuff that we like to do with blacksci-fi.com. And
What
people
up?
love list. So
Yeah, people love lists. And here's
they
the
love
I
list.
put the link in the chat. I put the link in the chat like 3 times so y'all can't miss it. Spammed it up for y'all. But yeah, check out that article. It's super dope. But once again, Fox Chronicles, yo, it's that brand newness.
Thank
Like
you, man.
it's in them streets. Y'all still got a chance. Let me see how long they got. How long they got left? They got,
And while you do, I
let's
think
see
we got
what.
close to 2 weeks. I
Y'all
mean,
got
under 2 weeks.
13 days, all right? Y'all
Yeah.
got 13 days. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got all kinds of levels. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Y'all got $7, $1, $10, 20, whatever. Look, just go there, support. The art is crazy. The story is cool. I like the twist, man. I, I, I'm very interested to see where her investigation
Takes her.
of this of this human
Yeah.
trafficking leads,
Yeah.
because
They're
I've sat and thought about it, every now and then when I see it on the news, and I'm like, you know where this leads to, right? Like, you know where this leads to, right? Like, the shoe salesman is not at the top of the human trafficking trade. Like, the mechanic down the street is not the one that's at the top of the human trafficking trade. Like, you know where this leads, right? Like, we all know where this leads. Like, we might not a specific person, but the type of person or people. Like, we know. Come on, why are we playing this game?
Yeah, and it's and like it's like I say, it's a horrible topic, but it's something that we felt that we should highlight within the story. The other thing I want to do is give always do a shout out to the to the team. We co-writer on the story is Leo Ware. Awesome. I think this is her first comic book work. But she's
nice,
really talented writer, talented editor. We have Fritz on the pencils and inks, and then Candace Hahn on the colors, and Kari Sampson will be on the lettering, but he's lettered everything going back to like Route 3 for me.
Nice.
And then the
which
variant
is an actual
covers,
job, guys. Like, lettering is not just like it's
yeah.
way harder than you think.
Yeah, people sleep on the lettering aspect of it. Like lettering, and also the cool thing about Kari is that he is a copy editor, so he will come in and check out the script, see how the dialogue is driving, and really help out on that front. And then on the variant covers, we have Oliveda O'Neill, Sheldon Mitchell, Fritz again, and then Marcus Williams of Tuskegee Airs. So there's variant cover, and then we have Powell helping out with the graphic design, and and Tanya Woods. There's a lot of us helping with spreading the word, and then of course Tony Cade, and shout out to his comic book shop, Challenges Games and Comics, which is as far as I know one of the only Black-owned comic book stores in all of Georgia. So.
Oh, and shout out, Fourth Wall Pros came through, said, Rob, we backed it early. So, you know what I'm saying? Good to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Good to hear that. Yeah, letterers are very important, especially if they're able to like get creative with the space and do different things, like when somebody's thinking or if they're remembering something. Like there's interesting ways letterers can kind of like pull out your dialogue, and you know what I'm saying? So don't sleep. It's not just putting words in a bubble. It's like it seems like that, but it's not. So
no, it's more than that.
So before, Kid at Heart said Fox Chronicles should make an NFT. Cough, need a free one for the idea.
Wait, what was that?
So Kid at Heart said Fox Chronicles should make an NFT. Cough, need a free one for the idea. Cough, cough. So
okay.
The NFT, the NFT market. I'm interested.
What is
to see
NFT?
Where it goes.
What is NFT?
So basically, what people are ending up making are like digital assets that are like this is it, like this is all there is. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't no more. There ain't gonna be no more sense. You know what I'm saying? You the special one.
Okay.
And I'm not against it. I'm willing to see where it goes. But it's like trying to remember, what does it stand for? Hold on. It actually stands for non-fungible token. But basically it's like look, it's digital, but this is it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no extras. Like this is it. You got your own solo unit. You know what I'm saying? But so I am interested to see where NFT market goes, because it could be cool. You know what I'm saying? But Kid at Heart, I see you. I see Kid at Heart. I see. You know what I'm saying? You helping out. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Black Dollars. You know what I'm saying? Tony Cade in the chat. What up? What up? Nice to see you. So with that said, we have kind of like exercised the demons. We have let y'all know what's going on. You know, say you got Fox Chronicles, that you got 13 days left. Look, once again, don't sleep. Fox Chronicles, I'm gonna put it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the chat. Go and drop $1 to it now. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's Friday. You got a couple dollars. All right, you know what I'm saying? Just put $1 or $2 up in there. Support. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Black Economics. Also, we talked about Mine To Avenge, which I'm glad is free, finally free, with the issue 4 coming, and The Crossing. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten into a whole bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to say thank you for coming through, of course.
Yeah, man, thanks. I mean, as usual.
I know it's early. Well, it's semi-early for you. It's early for me. But it's getting ready to get lunch on the East Coast, breakfast on the West Coast, and early dinner for the UK.
Was it like we're second breakfast if you're in if you're in Middle Earth or whatever, right? Middle Earth,
yeah. Danny Quick just said, I just saw it was Rob and backed it. Now I'm looking forward to actually reading it. Word up, word up. This what's up. So,
oh man, thank you, man.
Big shout out to the chat, Tony K, Danny Quick, Kid at Heart, Fourth Wall Pros, Takia Marie, the car outside that somebody's trying to steal.
What?
Love one. Oh, there's a car alarm that went off, and I was like,
oh, okay. I was just
somebody's
like,
trying
wow.
to steal, because you know what I'm saying. They're like, yo, word. NERDSoul got the window open. Word. Let's get all up in the video, stealing, hitting alarms. But loved one, thank you for everybody in the chat for rolling through. Before we get out of here, where can they find you at?
Personally, for me, it's robertkjeffrey.com. That's robertkjeffrey.com. And if you want any like signed copies of like Route 3, Radio Free America, just hit me up through there. And social media handles, Instagram is robert.jeffrey, and something I don't know. I think it's like
give him that Twitter though. Give him that Twitter though.
Yeah, now I don't f with them Twitter streets anymore. I'm sorry. Like I mean I'm on there occasionally, but the two places are just search for me, Robert Jeffrey II on Facebook, and then robert.jeffrey on Instagram. Twitter is beyond my means. Like I can post up saying hey, hi, and then running away. So that's the formula I haven't figured out, man.
Oh man, but guys, this is Robert Jeffrey on Instagram. I'll throw his link in the chat. That Instagram that Twitter, boy, it's tough out there. But with that said, of course, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Hit that thumbs down if you don't. But if you hit that thumbs down, we're gonna send you into the world of Mine To Avenge. All right, and you ain't coming to the future. You going to the past. All right, just saying, it's gonna be scary. People with weird, nasty fingers, all right, trying to claw you up. And there ain't going to be no priest to help you out. So with that said, podcast if you want to listen, Spotify for that music. Do not sleep. We got Parker Lewis coming your way on the tail end to send you out, and Arcatron as well. Much love to all of y'all. From us to you, thank you for watching, and peace. Yeah. We out. We out. And get that book, man. Don't sleep. Get that book. Link down below. Fox Chronicles. We out. Peace. What up, what up, what up? I'm the man, yes, sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grind together, we all came from hunger pain.